up, everybody? Welcome to Learning the Process podcast. And here we are, episode 10, brother.
Wow.
Wow, 10 episodes.
The big 1-0.
The big 1-0. Hi, my name is Marcos. I am your host, and this is my brother, Yanko. Yanko, how we doing today, brother? How you feel?
Like I said earlier today, fabulous.
Fabulous, because he was listening to Fabulous.
I was listening to Fabulous, oh my God, since yesterday, bro. So he just put me in such a good mood. I was like, my God, like this guy's music was so good, you know. And I just was listening to Ghetto Fabulous the whole day yesterday and this morning. So feeling very good, very good. Music usually always makes me feel good, you know, because it always brings me back to the first time I heard it, you know, which of course, you know, with us, as you've heard before, the good old days, you know.
The good old days, bro.
The good old days. So a lot of the music I listen to is from, you know, our childhood or early adulthood. So
that's what's up. Me too, man. I stay in the past, yo. I listen to a lot of Wu-Tang. I listen to Depeche Mode.
Yes, sir.
You know, I like listening to a lot of Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, yeah.
Even though they really weren't from my time.
They were the 2000s.
Yeah, they were 2000s, but I really enjoy them right now.
Yeah.
You know, not so much too many of the new artists. I do listen to a lot of people, but it's just not like how it was when I was with Wu-Tang. I was like intense about it. It was extreme. It's non-stop loop. Mm-hmm. So it's not like that. I like a lot of artists today, but I listen to like a song that I like. Mm-hmm. Especially now because of how our phones are, that you don't have to buy an entire album. You could just get the song you like and that's it. Keep it moving forward.
That's right. So,
all right, my brother Yanko.
Yes, sir.
This is about you today and asking you these amazing questions that I got from you. All right, I got for you.
Oh,
all
wow.
right.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I should be scared or excited.
All right. So, of course, everybody knows our podcast is called Learning the Process podcast, right? So everything is about the process of a certain goal, a life, a journey, an experience. Mm-hmm. All right. So, Yanko, my question to you is, you're my brother and I've known you for many years.
Almost our entire life.
Right?
Our existence.
I think I met you like when I was like 8.
Yeah.
So I know like your journey in life and the things you've done. Now, there's things that I know about you. Like one, you know, when we were younger, you know, you loved a certain kind of music. You were the only you know how it is in our neighborhood. We grew up, a lot of us, in the hip hop community. However, you, Yanko, you listen to alternative music, you listen to heavy metal, number one.
That's right.
And not only did, you know, you listen to these music and hip hop and all that stuff, but you actually dressed in the character of the music you enjoyed.
Yeah.
Right? So when you started getting into heavy metal, which I have no idea when that started, but when it popped up, I accepted it and I just kept it moving.
Yes,
you
sir.
dressed like a metalhead.
A metalhead, that's
right? And there was times when you used to Depeche Mode and then you would dress like alternative, you know, with biker boots and some cut and, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
A specific hairstyle and then like a T-shirt with like what you call that little jacket piece you would wear under a suit.
A vest.
A vest, right? You would put a vest and a T-shirt and it was like very alternative look, right?
It was new wave at that time before it was called alternative. It was called new wave.
Yes. So look, in my process in life of knowing you, I've seen you become different things, right? I seen you one time. You came up to me. It was like, Marcos, I think I want to get into wrestling. What do you think about that? I was like, yo, you grew up watching, you know, WWF and all that stuff, and all the new companies of wrestling that popped up. You was into it. Like I got into it because I was hanging with you, so I had no choice but to watch it. And when I was a kid, I enjoyed it, but I wasn't a die hard on it, right?
Yes,
and then one day you was like, yo, Marcos, I think I want to become a wrestler. And I was like, oh, just sure. I get it. Just do it. Every time you had told me something you wanted to do, I was like very supportive, but I'll be like, okay, Yanko's doing something new. Let's see what this is going to be, right? He was like, to become a bass player. Next you know, you're in a band.
That's right.
I didn't thought you was going to do it, but you did it. So then I started learning about you that when Yanko says he gets something in his head, 9 times out of 10, you're doing this.
Yeah.
So I got used to, as growing up with you, Then once something pops in your head, I'm like, okay, this is something new that I'm gonna be a part of now. That I'm going to experience. That I'm gonna support my boy. He's gonna do this.
You're gonna tag along for the journey.
That's right. I'm gonna tag along for the journey, bro. Yo, let's start rollerblading. All right, Joe, this is scary.
Yeah.
I gotta put this on. Might kill myself, break an arm. We did it. Right? The bass player, he started doing martial arts, took it all the way. And wrestling, bro. I actually went to see you in rings.
I think you've seen me more than once, a couple of times.
Many times.
Yeah.
I've gone to different matches in Jersey, all over Manhattan. We've driven even further out to go see you wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I seen it, man. The
Yes.
different characters of Yanko.
That's right.
Now, this is the main one I want to talk about. Right now, your goal in life is to become an actor. Right? So my question to you is, when did the moment pop up into your head that you was like, you know what? I want to become an actor. What made you think that? Like, what happened that you was like, yo, I'm just going to do this? Because I never asked you these questions. When you was wrestling, like, what made you do it? You just like, hey, I'm thinking I'm going to, and you just did it.
Yeah.
I could have asked you, I'm like, why? Like, what in the world made you think this?
Yeah.
Like, what made you think you can do it? But what made you want to, like, out of nowhere, acting pops into your head and let me do this?
So, I don't know if you remember, but I had a video camera that my older brother had, and for some reason, I don't know how it started, we decided that we wanted to do skits. So I know you remember that it was me, you, and another friend of ours, and we were just doing skits. And to tell you the truth, I think everybody wants to be an actor. For some reason, everybody growing up, even to this day, everybody we know, everybody we grew up with, I guarantee you there is a little part of them that wants to be an actor. And to tell you the truth, we all been acting. Every single one of us is an actor, because you don't really start to display your true self, who you truly are, until you have already gone through the many phases of pretending to be somebody else to be accepted. So from a young age, every single one of us has been acting. And when you was talking earlier about all the phases I went through, that was me, encompassing those different characters, that I wanted to be. Of course, I became them because of the interest that I had for those things. But ultimately, on the exterior, on the outside, they were all characters, right? Because you had to dress a certain way, you had to behave a certain way, you had to listen to music, you had to create an environment. That's everything that actors do when they're, portraying a character or living in an environment that is, as they call it, make-believe. So we've always been acting. But for me, to see it as a professional thing, that was almost non-existent, because we didn't know how to become actors.
But what about you? How did it all hit in your head when you decided to, like, you know what? I'm going to do this.
Well, for me, it was after I got back from Iraq. Usually there is a pivot. There's a point in your life where you have to make a conscious choice, and then you have to apply it. And for me, being in Iraq and seeing how people did not value life. Americans value their life because they believe that they are inherently superior to everyone. But to be able to see how people devalue life, that took a toll on me, where it was like, oh man, like we are literally just wasting our life away in the United States, taking every day for granted. So when I got back from Iraq, I was like, I've always wanted to do this. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I was afraid to do it. I didn't have any information on how to do it. I didn't have any guidance, any direction. But thank God for the internet. You just type in a quick Yahoo search, and then it kind of gives you the blueprint of how to start acting, and then I just followed that, you know. So
All right, now that you just stated that, so when was that moment when you decided in your mind that, okay, that's it, I'm doing this, I'm taking this first leap?
going to acting classes.
Going to acting classes.
Going to acting classes.
What made you want to go to acting class? Like, what made you look up the acting class? Like, hey, should I go to acting class? Is there like a program out there I could go to? Can I just do this from home? What made you choose that? Like, let me go to acting. I'm gonna take this so serious that I'm gonna actually do. And did you pay for this acting class?
Yes, of course. I mean, acting classes, unless you know someone that's gonna.
Well, there's a lot of programs out there that exist that people just take advantage of, and it's for free.
Yes,
so some people will go all the way and blow their pocket out,
exactly,
and go do it a more professional manner.
Yes, but like I said, I didn't have any guidance in any direction, and I didn't have anyone within my social circle that is an actor, was an actor, and knew the process of how to become an actor. So what I did is I just followed the blueprint of what I saw on the internet. How do you become an actor? Go to acting school, get headshots. So there's like these basic instructions, that begin, your process as an actor, which is go to acting school, get headshots, and then create like a profile, and then submit to jobs. Try to get jobs.
So, what acting school did you go to? What was the first acting school you went to? Because I know you went to a few of them. You started in one phase, and then you just kind of leveled up in the schools you went to. I know that about you.
Yeah.
What was like the first school you went to?
I think
that started this journey.
The first school that I went to was called TVI, which they just offered classes, and it wasn't really a school. It was just you pay for classes, and what they do is they give you a basic instructional beginners level course of reading a script. What does the script look like? Where are the characters? How to follow directions, not to say the directions, because a lot of people, they'll read the directions as if it's their line. So these are the basic things that they teach you, and it was called TVI. It was somewhere like on 48th Street or something like that. They no longer exist.
This is all in Manhattan, right?
Yes, all in Manhattan. And
how long did you last there?
A couple of months.
Couple of months?
Yeah, probably like 6 months or not. Just taking classes. It was twice a week.
Twice a week.
Twice a week, 2 hours. It was like from 6 to 8.
And what was then after that? After you finished these classes, like what was the next thing? Like, did you go to another school after that?
Not immediately. Over the last 20 years, I've been acting, or in the process, in the journey of acting, 20 years, from 2006 till now. I've been doing it consistently. But when you don't have money to pay for acting school, you pay for a couple of classes and then you stop, and then you try to get acting work, acting gigs. But of course, it's very difficult, because if you're not, as they say, connected, if you're not connected to the community, then you don't have opportunities.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
So after you finish that small little course or beginning steps, what was the next step? Besides like going straight into acting or anything, did you take another course?
No, I didn't. No, usually what I would do is I would take a course. Usually it lasts 3 months, 12 weeks, and then I would stop, and then I would try to get a job.
Try to get a job.
Try to go to auditions and stuff like that. Back for a long time, there's a website. Well, it used to be a newspaper back then. Now it's a website called Backstage.
All right.
And they post all the acting opportunities in the industry. And what you do is, back then, before you were able to submit anything online, you would find out where they were holding the audition, and then you would show up with your headshot and resume, right? You sign up, and then you get to audition. And, that was the process before it was done online.
All right. Wait a minute. Didn't you go to like some kind of college or something like that?
I did.
The name of it.
That was I did go to college for theater.
For theater.
Theater, yes. So I went to Bronx Community College, and I got my associates in performing arts.
There you go.
Yeah, with a concentration in theater. So that was the first time I went to college. Then I continued my studies by going to Lehman College, where I got a bachelor's in fine arts in a concentration. The major is theater with a minor, well, double minor, in dance and then film and television studies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Yep, that's a deep story.
And then after that, I ended up going to the Lee Strasberg Institute for Theater and Film, and that is a 2-year conservatory certification.
Nice. All right, let me ask you a question. Now that you've gone through all these challenges and you've been through all these programs, when you first started wanting to be an actor, how did you realize, was this an easy process for you as becoming an actor, or was it difficult?
Oh, difficult, without a shadow of a doubt. It's completely difficult because, if you don't have access to the community that grants you opportunity, it's gonna be hard,
But what about the education of it, like learning to be an actor? Like I know, like for me, like when I think about being an actor, like bro, you have to have great memory to remember these lines and really take it in. Like for me, it's like, bro, there's a moment, gone the next 10 seconds.
Yes.
10 seconds is gone out of my brain. And to sit there and be like, I got to remember this. Now, I know this because I've helped you in moments for you to like rehearse something, right? So I've helped you with this. And you saw me. I try to remember this. Bro.
When we were doing Shakespeare.
Yo, that was brutal. It was brutal. And you was remembering this. Now, my question to you is, when you first started this, did you realize how hard it is to remember all this? Or did it come like smooth for you to start remembering all this? Was it a process for you? Because for me, I know it would be super hard to get my mind to start like recalling this entire line.
So there's a two-part, I want to say two-part answer to that. One, it was fairly easy for me to do it because I wanted to do it. Like for me, it wasn't a chore. Like when you go to a job that you hate,
yeah,
and you're doing it because you need the money, but you don't really care about it, right? You don't learn the job. They tell you do A, B, and C, and you don't bother about D, E, F, G. No, you just like, I'm going to do A, B, and C. And if I can avoid doing C and A, I'll just do B. So then that would make it difficult to learn your job. But if you love what you're learning, then you learn it pretty fast. So for me, learning how to be an actor, I was all in. Like, I was like, I don't want to learn anything else except how to be an actor. So whatever it was that I needed to learn to do it, I was going to do it. But they also teach you techniques. So when you go to acting school, they teach you certain things that makes it a lot easier to memorize your lines. So, once they teach you the techniques, and there's so many of them, but usually an actor will use anywhere between 3 to 5 techniques at once to really, boom, get it. Now, there are some people that got photogenic memory. Like, they can just look at something and they already know it. They just look at it. They go, okay, got it. And there's people like that. They just read something once and it's ingrained in them. And then other people, they got to use, the techniques, the systems, that are taught, that have been around for, hundreds of years. Because what people don't understand is that acting is probably just as old as painting. It's been around 7,000 years.
I mean, I understand that. Like, I think you and me spoke about this. It's like, since people were saying folklore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
tribes will say a story about maybe their ancestors, and some people will express it through wearing like certain clothings.
Exactly.
By a fire next to a rock, and through paintings on the walls, and they'll explain a story of something.
Exactly.
Right? So this is like ancient.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
It's ancient. That's how the human beings were able to express their past to other people through actually what you would say today is acting.
exactly.
They acted out history.
Exactly. So just even like books, before people were writing, people were speaking.
Yeah.
So they would tell the story. So books are just an extension of an audible story, and so on and so forth. So acting is now the performative aspect of that story. So these ancient arts have been around for a long time.
Let me ask you a question. Did you ever, like, during this journey, going through all this, get moments that discouraged you about yourself and this process?
Every day, every day, every day.
Like, can you give me, like, at least one or two things that you felt like during this journey of becoming an actor, the things about you that discourages you, that you're like, man, I need to get this under control. Yo, man, I really got to focus on this. Yo, I need to really try harder on this.
The hardest thing is your negative emotional relationship with the outcome or wanting an outcome. Like that's the hardest thing, because you watch television and movies every day. I mean, it's just nonstop. And the fact that you're not getting an opportunity, that will put you in a very dark emotional state, because you're like, yo, what the hell? I can't, how is it that this person's on TV and that person's on TV? And, and then now in the 2000s, because growing up, we never saw anybody that looked like us, unless it was a novela and you really didn't even see anybody like you in a novela, but at least they were speaking your language. So you was like, okay, Spanish, But now people that looked like us, that didn't start popping into about the 90s, late 90s, and then really into the 2000s. So when you see somebody that looks like you and you're like, okay, this guy's doing it, so why am I not getting that same opportunity? What is it? I look like that. I could do that, and that's the hardest thing. That is the hardest thing. Is
that's something that affects you, that you think about a lot all the time.
Of course.
And gets you frustrated.
Yeah, it gets you frustrated, and it makes you want to quit, because you feel like things are unfair, So, but that was early in my stage, That was in, the first 10 years of me on this journey.
All right. Here we go. Let's move on. All right. So, on a day-to-day, when it comes to your acting thing today, like, what does your grind look like? Like, how does your, how do you prepare yourself for auditions and roles and stuff like that? Like, what's your day-to-day on that?
Well,
now that you're in a different place, and I see you focus more, and you know what to do, and you know what are your steps? What does that look like for Yanko?
So, what people don't understand about acting is that the physical application of acting, I don't want to say that it's easy, but it's fairly simple. The physical application is simple. The hardest part about it is the business, getting paid, because ultimately you are at the mercy of someone who has a production or is in charge of a production. You're at their mercy. You can be a fantastic actor, but if the other person does not want you, you're not working. That's the hardest part. Other than that the physical application of acting is fairly simple.
So what is that? What is your physical application of acting?
Well, the physical application is reading books, reading plays, reading scripts, right? And being able to recite the lines and then say, well, how would I play this character? And you could do that on your own. You could do that in your house. Now we have cell phones, so they're cameras. You can record yourself doing it. And then you, as an actor, say, well, you know what? I'm going to play this line sad. And then you change it. You go, you know what? I'm going to do the exact same line, but I'm going to do it mad. And I'm going to do the exact same line, but I'm going to do it laughing. You see what I'm saying? So as an actor, your job is to be able to play every emotion. So the physical application of acting is very simple. It ain't easy. I don't want to say that because some
I'm about to say that right
some-
now. I was like, yo, so that means I could become an actor easily
yes,
with no problem.
Well, here's the thing.
I attempted that with you. It didn't work so well for
No,
me.
no, because
I think it's more about, like you
not
said, the passion.
That's not your passion. That's not what you're really into.
It was fun doing it.
But like I said, the hardest part about acting is getting chosen to be in a production. Now, it is fairly easier when you don't care about money. And that's the difference. So my first 10 years of this journey was like, I got to get hired. I got to get paid. I got to, and it was just a bunch of heartbreak. But then my last 10 years, right, once I figured out and I changed my state of mind, where it's like, oh, I'm an actor, even I'm not getting paid, as long as you're doing the physical application of acting. And then that's when everything changed. And now I've done tons of independent films. I've done off Broadway plays. I've done a bunch of school plays, and then of course when you're in school, you're always acting because acting school is all about acting. You are creating characters and you're getting up in front of your peers, you're getting up in front of your teachers, your instructors, and you're acting. So the physical application of acting, like I said, it's not easy, but it's simple. Get up there, read these lines, and then project emotions.
All right, now that you mentioned that, I got something for you. Okay, while you was going through this and experience acting and being in front of OSP and being in front of your peers and being in these different things that you participated in, while you're growing as an actor, no one's perfect. Everybody always has something about them that they got to get better at. My question for you is, what was something that you sucked at earlier, but you got better at?
Oh, man, I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was being vulnerable.
What do you mean? What does that mean? What do you
showing?
And what?
So in our culture, our environment, being vulnerable was a sign of weakness, right? So you can't show weakness. You can't show you can't show that something bothers you, and if it bothers you, then you have to do something physically aggressive to show how, hey, don't ever play me like that, right? Yeah. So for the most of our, upbringing, it was you're either happy or you're angry and violent. And that was the only two emotions you can show in the streets because, it was survival, fight or flight. So when I started acting, I could never show vulnerability because I didn't know what that was. So to be able to
so wait, you're saying it's like tapping into your emotions somehow?
Yeah, but tapping into the emotions that makes you look weak.
It makes you look weak.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
you're purposely making yourself soft.
You have, and that right there, that was literally like a blockage. It didn't allow me to grow as an actor because I couldn't show sympathy, I couldn't show empathy, right? I always had to portray a hardcore person, like I'm hard, but there's no range. There's no growth in just playing those characters, A perfect example would be like Michelle Rodriguez, right? From Fast and Furious. Mm-hmm. If you watch Michelle Rodriguez in any film she does,
it's tough.
It's the same person.
Yeah.
There's no range. There's no range. She is a one-trick pony. Now, I'm not saying she's not capable of it. What I'm saying is, if you watch everything she's ever done, she's a one-trick pony. She's just the angry feminist. Okay, like that's it. That's it. There's no range. But when you do theater, when you do the original art form, you can't be a one-trick pony. You got to be able to display the hundreds of emotions that a human being carries. you know. So that was very hard for me, and until I was able to get over that, which let me tell you, I had this one situation. As a matter of fact, this was when I went to the acting school. Very good school. It was on 57th Street. Very good school. They teach the Meisner technique. I did a 6.
What is that? What's the Meisner technique?
The Meisner technique is a technique that actors use in order to not only memorize your lines, but also be able to create the character and the environment that you have to live in to, you know, portray or perform, you know, your character truthfully. So Sanford Meisner is the person who created this technique. So he has he had a school called the Acting Studio, and I went there. So I was doing a scene, and the teacher was like, "No, you have to cry. You have to cry. You know, the person did this to you, and you know, in this situation, you know, a normal human being would behave like this." And she kept pushing me and poking me and poking me, and I wasn't budging, and she wouldn't let it go. And man, she made me so angry. She made me so angry that I started to cry. I started to cry from how much I wanted to beat her up. You know, like when you're so angry that you wanna beat the crap out of someone, but you're angry because you can't beat them up. So I was banging on the table. I was banging on the table. So I was saying my lines, right? But the whole time I'm banging on the table and saying my lines and crying from how much I wanted to beat the crap out of this but that made the scene entirely way more realistic, right? And the character, because I was no longer thinking about how I was looking as a person. Like, oh man, these people are judging me, and I gotta, you know, and I was all trying to be hard. But I wasn't allowing the character to go through this experience. Remember, it is the character that is going through this experience, not me. So I was blocking myself from allowing the character to live truthfully in the situation, right? But she kept poking me unto the point where I now was so angry at her, I no longer was thinking about how all the other students were looking at me, Yanko, right?
Yeah.
Because I was only concerned about how I was looking, how Yanko was looking to all the other students, right? Which you're going downhill. You know, you're going downhill.
Trying to get validation and all that.
Validation and approval.
And approval.
Instead of
the art itself.
Instead of the art of itself. But man, she pushed me. Boy.
That was like a turning point in your life?
My, as far as artistically as an actor, where I was able to get off that hump, you know, that peak where you just like, yo, I can't break through the ceiling. I can't break through the ceiling. So now you think you're doing good. Yeah. You know, I'm this actor, but you're not growing. You're not growing as an actor. And that, man, that forced me, boy. I was so mad. Oh my God, I wanted to beat the hell out of her because she wouldn't stop poking me. She was like, no, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like this.
In front of mad people.
In front of everybody. And so now
everybody's just watching.
So now think
oh man, I'm going to go next.
So now think about it. Now, you know, it's almost like she's insulting your abilities.
Yo, bro, she undressed you.
Oh my God.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody. But let me tell you, that was the most satisfying thing to be able to get there. You know,
would you say it was like a level of fear? And she just removed the fear now?
Of course.
And just like, oh, it's like that time I jumped out of the plane that I was so scared.
When we were skydiving.
And then I skydived, I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. The fear left after I was already flying.
That's it. So after that, then I was able to be like, oh man, like, because once you feel humiliated, right? That's it.
That's it. You're done with that fear.
You
experienced it.
you experienced it. Like you got humiliated.
It wasn't that serious.
Emotionally, it was very serious. Like I wanted to strangle her to death.
Yeah.
But then you have to come back to class, and you got to do it again, and you got to do it tomorrow, and you got to do it the next day after that. So once you was like, okay, it's like getting beat up. Like it hurts when
once
it's
you feel
happening.
the punches, I say, oh,
And then tomorrow you're like, oh man, like I got punched in the face, like
Yeah.
I got body slammed.
but I'm still alive.
I'm still alive.
I survived.
That experience now is almost like, you ever remember Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Every time Goku got beat up, he got stronger.
Yeah.
But first he had to go through the beating.
Yeah.
That's
it. That's right.
That's humanity. You only get better after you go through that experience that you felt that it was going to be, the end of the world. So.
All right. Yeah. That sounds like an amazing experience, bro. And definitely amazing process.
Oh my God.
Of it all.
Because the acting journey is all process. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The acting journey is all process. Nobody ever just picks it up and is like perfect.
All right. So now that you're at where you're at today, and from the point you started when you wanted to become an actor, and you had to go, okay, I got to go to school, I got to learn this, I got to go through this process, breaking through barriers of your skill set in acting. Now that you experience all this and you are where you are today, and you know there's levels to this,
Tons of
levels to this. So what's your big vision? Like what will be your dream role to play? If you could play anything right now and you get picked up for a huge production, and they gave you and it was like, Yanko, we would like you to choose these roles that we think you could fit into, and they give you options. Even though that really doesn't happen, but they give you like 3 options. These are the things we think you could play. Choose one. What would it be?
So that's a very difficult question to answer, because as an actor, you don't choose one type. As
Hypothetically, that's the thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, as an actor, what you really want is to be paid for your service. That's it. So in other words, perfect example.
But for you, I'm saying for you.
To be paid as an actor.
So you don't care what you do.
I don't care what I do, because my job as an actor is to bring the character to life. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I can't say, well, my dream role was to play a cop. A cop. Okay, but what is that cop doing? What is his life?
Yeah.
What is the story that he has to go through? What is his journey? Because every character, right, of a story is going through a journey himself. So there's no such thing as, well, what is the perfect role? The perfect role is the role that pays me to play it. That's, which I was saying is the hardest thing of an actor. The physical application of acting is fairly simple. The most difficult thing as an actor is to get picked, right, by the powers that be that control everything, that says, okay, we are bestowing this privilege upon you. It's like the king, right, with the sword, and says, I now crown you Sir Lancelot. It is to be given that, that privilege. That is the hardest part about acting. It's the business. It is, to go into basically a gauntlet, like the Roman Colosseum, right? And you're being put in there with 1,000 other actors to fight for that one, contract. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that the acting industry, it is like the Roman Colosseum. You have, especially in New York, because we live in New York City, and especially now in 2026, maybe 30 years ago, not so much, because everybody knew how much harder it was to be an actor. But now with the internet, everybody's an influencer, which you're basically, an influencer is you're a visual performer. So now, these production companies, they see, or they look for the people who have the most following, because eyes are just like, it's just like butts and seats, right? The more eyes, you have on you, the more people are going to watch what you're in. So now it's not even about talent anymore. So now with influencers, influencers are getting way more opportunity than someone who is an actually trained actor. Do you understand? So that's what's hard about being an actor. It is the business, not the physical application. Because you already know, I've done tons of films, right? But they're all independent films, non-paid. But I still get to physically act. I get to do the application of acting, which is what I love. So what is the ultimate goal? It is, like, perfect example, Ice-T. Ice-T. Ice-T did one thing. That's it. He's never acted in anything else except Law and Order. 20 years doing Law and Order. I'm pretty sure I could run circles around Ice-T acting. I've never seen Ice-T cry.
That's not his thing.
You see what I'm saying? And he's getting paid to do the most simplest thing on television. Never had to cry, never had to show sorrow, never had to show, sympathy, empathy. He's Ice-T. He is a stone cold, no nonsense cop. Okay, yeah, sure. I could do that too. I could do that too with my eyes closed and drunk. Look at Donnie Wahlberg. What it was, Blue Blood. I could, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the dream for an actor is to be able to get paid to act. That's it.
All right, understood. All right, final question for you. What's the sacrifice you had to make for all this, to get to this goal, to be an actor, to do all these schools? Like, what did you have to sacrifice to get to where you're at today?
I wouldn't call it a sacrifice, because there was nothing I had to give up that, I needed to, okay, I got to give this up in order to get this. I never had to do that. Now, maybe I had to give up, which is something that you do mentally and emotionally, is caring what people's negative perception, right, of me. Because in our community, if you try anything and it doesn't already give you millions of dollars, you're a failure in their eyes. So, in our community, they immediately try to discourage you. They try to humiliate you with passive aggressive comments, and that discourages almost everybody from chasing their dreams and living a fulfilled life. So one thing I did give up, which it wasn't a sacrifice, but I gave it up because none of those people who had a negative opinion or perception of what I was doing was paying my bills. They weren't funding my lifestyle. So, socially, that it was something that I gave up. But then at the end of the day, as you get older, and everybody's on their own journey. So when somebody says something negative, especially passive aggressive comment, this is something that Dominicans do a lot. Dominicans love doing this. When they haven't seen you in a while and they go, oh, but I thought you was doing X, Y, and Z. Oh, but I thought you was doing X, Y, and Z. And it's like, yeah, I'm still doing it. They're like, oh, but I haven't seen you in anything. Oh, how much money are you making? And to them, it's like, well, if you're not living up to their expectation of what success is, you're a failure. And that social, that like being in that social environment, that stops a lot of people, especially in our community, from progressing in doing anything that they ever wanted to do. Like they just stop. They go with whatever is safe, right? And won't bring any social like when somebody is being prejudiced towards you socially. Like Dominicans, they try to avoid that at all cost.
Yeah, that's why I believe in moving in silence.
That's it.
I don't tell people what I do.
Yeah.
If people asking me, hey, what are you doing today? Oh, just working, family. I keep it really basic, unless I'm close to you. If I'm close to you, then I'll tell you my truth because I know you care. That's why I tell you. If I'm comfortable with you, I'll tell you my truth. If I'm not comfortable with that, I keep it very general.
Yeah. So that was the one thing that I had to give up in order for me to be satisfied with who I am and what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is for who I am. It's for me. It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
And one of the hardest things that people, especially in our community, suffers, with and struggles with is support. It's extremely difficult because, I don't want to just say Dominicans, but I want to say that people on the less privileged side of things, they don't support you until they see that there's a benefit in supporting you. And the only benefit is either social status or money. And if they're not going to get anything socially that makes them look better in the eyes of people, or they're not going to get money from you, they don't support you. And unfortunately, that's what stops so many people in our community from progressing. So once I, again, gave it up, I didn't care what anybody thought about me, and I didn't care whether they supported me or not, because they never supported me in the first place. Like, no one ever paid my bills. No one ever bought me sneakers. No one ever gave me food. Never ever bought me food, right? No one ever bought me a car. No one paid for my insurance. No one ever gave me money and supported my lifestyle. Then why should I care whether you think I'm successful or a failure? Doesn't really matter to me,
Understood.
So.
All right. Well, this is Yanko's process and journey in becoming an actor, the challenges, the struggles, the things he thinks about, the things he goes through, his mindset, his knowledge today, and how he perceives things, his perspective in life. All right?
That's right.
Yanko, thank you for sharing your journey.
All right.
I always appreciate it, and I pray that, everybody here gets something from it. Understand the process of what it takes to be an actor. I got a question for you. One more question for you. And Yanko, what would you say to people that want to become an actor? What's something like very short, simple, to get them on that journey? If you were to give somebody advice, like, if I want to become an actor tomorrow, knowing everything you know, how do you prepare me real quick?
I would say, before you decide that you want to be an actor, I would say take a long, deep dive into yourself and find out if this is truly what you want. And then after you answer that question and you be like, yes, this is truly what I want. This is what I want. Then you have to ask yourself, why do you want it? Because the why, if you can't answer the why, you're not gonna keep going. Because a lot of people, and I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody wants to do something, but nobody will ever truly answer why.
Why?
Here's a perfect example. My daughter, when she wants something, I ask her, well, why do you want it? And I already know the answer because we were teenagers. Yeah. We were teenagers. Why do we want something that everyone else believes has value? Right?
What she says.
Well, she tries to give me the runaround. Oh, because I like it. Because I like the way it looks. Oh, because of, and I'm like, don't play with me. I know why you want it. You want it because other people have made you believe that this is valuable, and then it's going to give you value, and then people are going to treat you valuable. That's why you want it. Not because that thing actually has value and because you actually like it. No, you like the way that thing makes other people feel about you having it. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
understand.
that's what I've noticed. You know, that people want things and they don't know why they want it. So I would say look into it, find out why you want it, and if you can answer it truthfully, then follow it, chase it.
All right, there you go, people. That's what your mindset should be, and understanding the process of that, one step at a time. Well, thank you for tuning in, and welcome to Learning the Process.